there's been a huge clamoring among the Democrats for the release of the Epstein files under the belief that this is going to implicate President Donald Trump. You can't post an article on social media from a Fox News account without the primary comments underneath that article being release the Epstein files, accusations that anyone who is conservative is a pedophile. And yet now that some more information has been released, what has been released is that Donald Trump in 2006, I believe it is, called local law enforcement in Florida, in Palm Beach, and told them, hey, this guy's an awful guy. Good for you. Focus on him. Get after him. And also said, and focus on Ghislaine Maxwell. I believe the quote is, she is evil. Many are describing it as a whistleblower type situation. It seems this is huge, and this is getting very little attention, Senator.
Well, it doesn't fit the narrative that the Democrats have, which is honestly, the Democrats had this same information, and they could have released this same information they wanted to when Joe Biden was in office. The truth is, they didn't want to release it because it didn't fit what they were saying, and we all know this for a fact. If there was anything in these files, when Garland was at DOJ, when Biden was in office, they would have released anything they could have on President Trump. Even if they didn't legally release it, they would have leaked it out, and it would have made it its way to the public. We aren't surprised. I'm not surprised. I talked to President Trump about this in length, and he was wanting to release it. There was a lot of pressure from other actors, especially around the world, that was kind of not wanting to or wanting to negotiate. There were some courts, a lot of courts was pushing back that had the files that were taken through grand juries that were sealed. Pam Bondi, the public thinks that they can, Pam Bondi can just wave a wand and everything can be released real quick. That's not true, because once it's in court and judge has sealed it, you got to work through the courts to get them unsealed. But as these documents are dropping, the Democrats have a tremendous amount of guilt on their face, and Trump is looking just like we knew he would, a very honest, straight shooter.
What do you mean there was a tremendous amount of pressure from other actors around the world?
So let me see how Will I going to walk in on this, because I have been I went through some classified briefings on this, and so I need to. So okay, one, let's use a guy named Andrew, for example, who is attached to a certain country. There was a lot of pressure from the family that was afraid that this would look bad on them and his relationship with them. So there was some pressure from there. There was some pressure from the Caribbean area that was afraid that this would look like they were harboring and abetting, which we were very assurance on them that this isn't a reflection on them. This was a loophole that that Jeffrey Epstein was using, and I believe there possibly could be some more names that come out that would probably make my statement a little bit clearer as the names get released.
Connections. There's constantly been concern, questions, and some evidence out there. Connections to intel agencies around the world.
No, I haven't seen any of that. I'm telling you, I have not seen any of that. In fact, all the information we're getting was gathered by a lot of our intel agencies, and not just in the U.S., but our partners too. It looks like they were feeding a lot of the information. It's just some people were sitting on it and wasn't actually doing it. You had a lot of, I mean, think about the influence that if it is accurate about Bill Gates. I'm meaning that very sincerely here. If it was accurate about Bill Gates, what type of influence money like that has, not necessarily here in the halls of Congress, because I don't think Congress, it doesn't appear that Congress was even read in on this or knew anything about it. So I'm not saying Washington, D.C. was, I'm not trying to say that we were innocent in this, but I'm saying it doesn't appear that Washington, D.C. was ever part of this decision. It was locked up in courts. When they were investigating, they would get a lot of the stuff, a lot of documents sealed on purpose. And it takes, as I said, once a grand jury locks up these documents and the judge seals them, the DOJ can't just go in there and open it. They have to get it signed off by them. And so you go back to how long the first time Epstein was investigated in Florida, and then you look into what was happening in New York. You have two areas that were keeping the majority of this stuff locked up where the DOJ couldn't release it as simple as we thought we could.